Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Thursday night football just concluded. The Bucs beat the Panthers 20-14, a difference of 6 points. And I want you to hear the discussion at the beginning of the Patreon live stream today, which was done about an hour before game time. I want you to hear what I said about 6 today in light of the date numerology. And I want to show you something. Get this kind of valuable knowledge every single day when you participate on my Patreon page. Listen.
Carolina is a 6.5 point favorite. If they do win tonight, I'd pay attention to pregame to see where the public money is. But I wonder if they might win by 6 just because today's date numerology and the purist methods all break down to 6. So the date numerology 6, the over-unders are 6.5. Could it be a 6-point ball game?
Okay, so I was talking about looking where the public money is because oftentimes over-unders are determined by where all the money is. If you're not familiar with not the over-under, the line in this case. Lines and over-unders are the same way. But we were looking at the line of 6.5 points, which means Carolina would have to win by 7 or more to cover the line. So if you bet on the Panthers to win, they need to win by 7 points. Otherwise, if you bet against the line, they have to win by 6 or less points or lose the game. So those are the scenarios you're betting on. And because the date numerology was 6, it was looking like it might be a 6-point game. And then the next piece was to check where all the money was. We did that right around 11 and a half minutes. And we saw that about 80% of the money, 81% of the cash was on the Panthers with the current spread, 81%. So that means that by the Panthers losing tonight, 81% of the public lost their money. And had the Panthers won by less than 6, they would have lost their money as well. So again, by following this and understanding how the games are scripted using numerology and gematria, you can get ahead of a lot. And this game was delayed at a very specific second, which we talked about later in the live stream. The live stream went a little more than an hour and a half. But what was pointed out is this right here. The game was stopped 389 seconds into the game. 389 seconds. And because someone was in the area on the live stream, they called and let us know that the storm was traveling down Interstate 77, they reported. And what we noticed about that right away is the game being stopped at the 389th second and the storm traveling down Interstate 77. We noticed that 389 was the 77th prime, and North Carolina and Lightning Storm were 77. And they do this stuff season after season, as ridiculous as it is. It's so much to explain, but weather warfare is a real thing. Once upon a time, the NFL was into doing jet flyovers, military salutes. Now they're into using military madness, weather warfare for NFL-related rituals. People in a lot of cities probably realize things like what we noticed up here in Seattle. Every year, week 1 of the NFL season, it's the craziest weekend in Seattle weather. Look at what happened in Seattle this past weekend with the lightning storms and so much rain in a rainy place that it flooded in areas. Anyway, it wasn't an accident that they stopped this game 389 seconds in, the 77th prime in North Carolina, 77, lightning storm 77. We noticed doing research for the position players, looking at how fantasy analysis happens, we noticed that from Peyton Barber, the running back for the Bucs, from his birthday to the game was 77 days. We determined he might be a key contributor. He had a touchdown, some big runs, 82 yards. Also contributed in a safety, so very active game. And then Chris Godwin Jr., the receiver for the Bucs with the 77 connection, had the biggest fantasy game of all. This stuff is not an accident. This is truly how scripted the games are. Truly. Demonstrate this year after year. And, lightning rituals have happened in seasons besides the 100th season, but this is the 100th NFL season. Lightning's 100, Thursday's 100. We always talk about how 40 is a huge number on Thursday Night Football. The first score of the game was a 40-yard field goal, TNF 40. They stopped the clock at the end of the first quarter with 40 seconds. Not an accident. Perfect rituals. So, anyway, you learn this knowledge. You can really learn how to get ahead of the rigging. And for all you fantasy players, you can learn a lot. This past NFL Week 1, I'll show you something. And I taught this before. A lot of people benefited from this on Patreon. How to learn how to see who's going to have the big fantasy performances. Sammy Watkins had one of the biggest fantasy weeks in NFL. His full name, Samuel Benjamin Watkins IV, in the most pure cipher, the alphabetic order with the rules numerology, sums to 87. Out of these 4 ciphers, which are all important, 87 the most important. From his birthday, June 14th, to his game, September 8th, guess what day of his age it was? Again, his birthday is June 14th. He's got the flag's birthday. He's got Donald Trump's birthday. So his game was September 8th. It was his 87th day of his age, Sammy Watkins, whose full name is Samuel Benjamin Watkins IV, which sums to 87. Had a monster game. Jimmy Graham. We identified him as a contributor for the opening game last Thursday. He wears the jersey number 80. It was 80 days from his birthday, the game. Again, you learn this knowledge. You see right through the scripting with laser vision. And, if you're on Patreon, you did really great today again on baseball. We've been murdering baseball since the end of July. And, we were on the right side of nearly every game today. And we got the huge payout, too. We got the huge payout in the Athletics-Astros game. This game was a bet 100, win 300 if the Athletics won today. Major underdogs. The reason we had Athletics winning is because Homer Bailey was on the mound today. He became 13-8, and we pointed out that his next start will be against Kansas City, his old team. Kansas City, when spelled correctly, is 148. So by winning today, he could get to 13-8, which he did. And by winning against his old team, Kansas City, he can get to 14-8 on the season. You see that? You see how they do it? The whole world of sports scripted by this knowledge, because all of sports are credited to Freemasonry. And Freemasonry works by this code of letters and numbers, which comes from Kabbalah, which Masonry is very much based in. So Homer Bailey, 13-8, on his way to 14-8 against his old team, Kansas City. Same thing all across the board. You learn this language, you can see through the rigging. Dodgers today, they were a gimme, getting the 95th win and the 39th away win of the season. Baltimore's 95. They got their 95th win against Baltimore. And they got their, what am I doing? Orioles. They got their 39th away win. You see that? 95th win, 39th away win. We had the Phillies today. We had the Red Sox getting to 77-70 on the owner's 70th birthday, 777, and they score 7 runs. Comedy. The Yankees swept the Tigers today, evening the series at 3-3. Look at this. 3-3 between the Yankees and Tigers this year. Tigers is 33. New York is 33. And the Yankees picked up their 44th away win by sweeping the doubleheader today. Detroit 44. We liked the Cubs a lot. Darvish looked good to get his 63rd career win. He improved to 6-6. Look at this. Darvish got his 63rd career win against the Padres. Padres 63, Cubs is 63. Yesterday's game between the Padres and Cubs was another 63 ritual, which we nailed. Again, you learn this code, you can see how sports are scripted to a T. To a T. And, by the way, Darvish is going to go into Cincinnati. He'll start against Cincinnati, being 6-6 on the season, and Cincinnati's 66. If you want to go back through box scores, see how many pitchers have come into Cincinnati 6-6 this year. New York looked good to go. They made the Diamondbacks 39-39 away. Arizona's 39. New York's 39. What a perfect. Those are the only 2 states of the 250 states that sum to 39 in that cipher. And notice New York won with a score of 11-1, a day after winning 9-11, So, Marlins picked up their 24th loss on the 24-date numerology. The the Royals improved to 3-5 in Kansas City this year. The Royals improved to 3-5 in Chicago this year against the White Sox. Chicago 35, Cardinals stayed on 38 away losses in Colorado. Colorado, 38, the 38th state. Number that hits all the time with Colorado. So, some games it's hard to get a read on, but Phillies had the date numerology today. Got their 33rd win against the NL East. They had 24 and 33 date numerology. Oh yeah, the Nationals. The Nationals gave the Twins their 57th loss and 33rd home loss. See that? 57-33. Look at Nationals. 57-33. I mean, if you guys think this stuff's all a coincidence, it's too bad, because some people are making some serious coin off this knowledge. Till next time.